Well, my opinion on the 45, and actually put some, a lot of people hate these because they're like been around so long. But the fact they've been around a long time means they're good, right? There's a lot of stuff out there that's good, though. Let me just say this. You know what I do, too? I have this at home. See this little rubber thing here? I put that back in there. Because not only does it, well, I don't have it in there right now, but when you have it back in here, you will keep you from pulling the slide back. So if somebody grabbed this weapon, which it doesn't have a round in the chamber right now, okay, they would not be able to pull the slide back on a weapon, even though I'd have a loaded magazine in there with these, these are good. You can't buy those anymore. Those kind of hollow points, whatever. That's one little trick. I have this on I do this on a semi-automatic. So I put this little rubber thing in here. You don't even notice it. It's behind it. It's not just that there's no round in there in the chamber, but I know it's there. It takes me like half a second to pull this out. You pull the slide back, and you're all set to go. Now, the one thing I don't like about the 1911, and I know there's a lot of better ways to stake down the the grip safety on these. I just take some freaking. I've had different things on here before, but this has been on here for a while. Now, this thing's probably got about 10,000 rounds through it, and from a long time ago, because I haven't been shooting it recently, but I have shot this thing a lot. It's just it's a plain COLT model Series 80, 1991, right? And one thing I don't like about the COLT is this thing, this safety, this grip safety. Because if you don't pick it up right, or if you're in a hurry, you can get the one with the hump on it. That would probably solve the problem. But still, what I did, and I've always had it this way, and some people say, oh, that's unsafe as shit. Well, not really. Because most weapons don't have this on here anyway, This is unique to this weapon, having this grip safety. Now, the other thing is, I don't like carrying it like locked and cocked. I don't know what it is. It's okay like that, but if I was going to carry this like all the time, I'd carry it with a round in the chamber with the hammer down. And since it's a Series 80, it ain't going to go off, It's not going to be able to hit this hammer because it's got different mechanism here where the firing pin is. You got to use the trigger to fire the round. Now, to pull this hammer back one hand, well, it's easy. It's easy when it's in the holster. So when you're pulling it out of the holster, you pull the hammer back, and you're all set to go. And that takes, I don't know, it doesn't even take a fraction of a second to do that. Probably the best position to hold it is this, but that's so damn quick. Doing that is like nothing. And you can dry fire the shit out of these things, no problem, right? Now to lower the hammer on these, this is where you got to watch, especially if you have this bypass, the grip safety bypassed. What you don't want to do is put your finger over here and lower the hammer. You want to put your finger over here and actually use your other hand to do it. But if you have your finger right here, right in there, and you're lowering the hammer, no problem. See? You don't want to have it trying to lower it from this side. This would be wrong. You could slip. There's nothing in there, though. You know what I mean? If you have it like that, you start pulling it away, you're okay. You're fine. And you would use your left hand. I'm holding the camera with the left hand. So, but the main thing I don't like about the 1911 is grip safeties. Even with that, you can have that little hump on there, which makes them better. But ever since I got this thing, practically many years ago, I think I got this in 1991 or something, like when they're brand new, right? When they first came out. It's a 1991 COLT. I've had this like this, with this. Like the cord got a little bit of play in it, but still enough to hold it down and bypass that grip safety. So one thing I don't like about these is a grip safety. The other thing I don't like about them, they're not hard to field strip. You push this in down here, you make sure there's no round in there, push that in, and you pull that, you push this out of the way, and then you line this up with that right here, this little notch up with that, and you pull this out. And when you push this back in, what I always do is I make sure this goes in all the way. Then I flip it. You got to be careful. If you're doing it at night, you can kind of screw it up. You get this thing jammed up with that pin in there, and that's a pain in the ass if that happens. It's one thing I don't like about it when you field strip it. But you really don't need to field strip it much. You don't even need to do that, because you can clean the barrel out and just oil it, when it's all together. And this thing, I like it because it's got this thing's got a good trigger pull. And the other thing I like about it is you really don't need hollow points with this damn thing, because you got like a 230 grain round. Even just a plain old lead ball, if it's really big, 45 hole. And the deal is, when you're talking like rifles and stuff, rifles are in a totally different category because of the speed. And I went over this. I don't want to get into like which rifle's more reliable. I think an AK is probably the most reliable damn rifle out there, right? And the AR-15 is actually very reliable, not like as durable as an AK, but still really durable, right? And the AR is a little more accurate, right? But when you're talking like the AK-74 with the 5.45 round, the little round, the reason all the governments went to the little rounds from the 7.62 or 30 caliber with the much faster is because the speed of the round, when it's going over 2,000 feet per second, causes cell damage on where it enters. Like, it's not just the visible tissue damage, but all the cells around there explode like sacks of ruptured sacks of water, and the cells in that area are all dead when the round goes over 2,000 feet per second. See, no pistol does that. I don't think, just about no pistol does that where it goes over 2,000 feet per second. I don't know, some exception, maybe some extraordinary pistol that's not really a pistol. And the other thing is, when a round goes over 2,600 feet per second, it fragments. That's why the A1 with the little 55 grain was actually more deadly than the A2 with the 68 grain for real short distances, because it was going over 2,600 feet per second for, I think, about 50 meters, and the round would fragment, on human tissue. So you can't really go by the size of the hole when you start getting into these different speeds. It's like 2,000 feet per second is a cutoff for causing the cells to explode, and 2,600 feet per second is a cutoff for about when the round fragments. Pistols aren't in that category. So pistols, the more weight and the bigger the hole, the better. That's why 45 is pretty damn good. This thing, yeah, I know. Well, this is an 8-rounder. So you got 8 plus 1. You got 9 rounds. I guess the main thing that's wrong with this is it weighs a ton because it's steel. So if you get aluminum one, I guess it's pretty good. But and you get a shorter. You can actually use this as concealed carry if you had aluminum frame, shorter slide, and you didn't have this spur thing on here to catch on you, and kind of be a large concealed one, but it's not bad. But if the thing is I don't like about it is these damn grip safety. I never liked this grip safety shit. I never liked it, and I've been using it like this forever. Just I didn't have it pinned down by the gunsmith. I just wrapped some freaking polyester outdoor cord around here a bunch of times with a piece of tape underneath some tape that's underneath the cord, and that pulls it in. So, I can. So if I picked it up like that, real like in a hurry, and I didn't have it gripped right. Because that's what can happen, right? I can do that, no problem. It works, right? Right. Now I want to say something about Glock. There's one reason I don't really. Glock is fucking really good. Okay, fine. It's like it's not. It's durable and it's cheap. And all that kind of garbage, right? The one thing I don't like about Glock, for my personal thing, like somebody might say this is dangerous, but then you got this. You got this. It's a very positive safety, right? And it's quick. And if you have the hammer down, it ain't going to do nothing, right? Even though I got this pinned down. The one thing I don't like about the Glock is, I don't even know why they even have that little safety in the trigger, because I'm thinking, how's that a safety? You know what I mean? How's that a really, in practical world, how's that a safety anyway? Like, why not just have a gun without a safety? You know, it's like, that's what I don't like about it. Now, if you're expecting to use it, like, there's a real high odds you're going to be using it, and, well, the thing is, you wouldn't be using a pistol in combat anyway, you'd be using a rifle. I guess that's good, you know. But, I mean, it's almost like a Glock to me. It's almost like when you're carrying that around, it's almost like carrying this around without the safety engaged. Maybe the trigger pulled on this a little lighter. Yeah, it is a lot lighter, but, you know, I don't know. That's the one thing I don't like about the Glock, man. I wish they had something else besides that safety inside the trigger. I'd be more sold on it. That's my opinion on that shit. And so, because somebody's going to give me a lot of shit about, you know, having this down like this. I've had this like this forever. I mean, so, okay, 9 and about 26 years. You know, that's the way it's been done. And I did, you know, like, I haven't been shooting this recently, but I did put about a good 10,000 rounds for this stupid thing. And I've never had a problem with this being down like this. Like I said, I like it because, you know, it might be hard, like, if you're going to try to pull back the trigger, the hammer, with one hand like that, it's a pain in the ass. But if it's in the holster, you know, it goes really easy, right? You know, because it's in there. It pulls back. And you can also carry it locked and cocked. But what I don't like is, say you got it like this and you grab it and you don't have it right and you're just in a funny position and it's a panic mode, you might not be gripping this shit right. Even though you can get the one with the hump on it, you might not be gripping it right. You might be, I just got it, you know, I shot the first round and something happened, or I just picked the damn thing up and it, you know what I mean, I didn't really grip it right, and you just did that, and you're in a panic mode and you have it like this. You want to have, that's why I don't like this safety bullshit here, man. You know? So if I was going to carry it like extremely safe, the way I would carry it is with the hammer down, with a round in a chamber. Because it ain't going nowhere, and the round ain't going to go off with a Series 80. No way in hell. And if it's in a holster, you know, this thing's held down, you can pull it down no problem. You know? And actually, this is very safe because this safety is very positive. This is a very positive safety, and it's very easy to get at. And this stupid thing is accurate, man. This thing is weird because, well, it's not weird. I mean, it's like, you could shoot this for like 50 meters, no problem, with a lot of accuracy. It's because this gun is heavier, it stays on target better. And some people say the gun's heavy and all this kind of shit. Well, it also keeps the damn thing on target better. And like if you're lowering this, say there's a round in the chamber, which there isn't, right? You know, it's already freaking, you know, fired it a bunch of times, dry fired it a bunch of times. But say if you're going to lower it, you want to use your left hand, not this right hand. But the thing is, you want to put your finger in here, right here, right? So take it off, put it right in there, and lower it. You don't want to lower it like this, even if it's with your left hand. You can slip. That's how you could slip, even though it's a spur trigger and all this kind of crap. You don't want to do that. You want to have it down here. And actually, when you pull this back, you want to go as far to this part as you can, instead of pulling it way back here. Like, in other words, when you're pulling it out of the holster, you want to go like this. See? You want to put your hand like that and go, you know? To me, that works. Anyway, that's just my shit. You know, I like this stupid thing, actually. A lot of people don't like them because they're not the. Well, you know what it is. You know what? I guess I don't know. It's almost like I guess I can't really compare it to a 32 Ford with a flathead V8 in it, because it's more modern than that. Even though this was earlier than the 32. This is a 1911, developed in 1911, right? This is a 1991 A1. Excuse me, that's what it was. 1991. The thing is, it's, I don't know. To me, what this is compared to is like, well, even though small block Chevy came out in the mid '50s, this is like a small block Chevy. It's about that relevant today. Like you say, it doesn't have this, doesn't have dual overhead cams and blah blah blah, whatever. Stupid. This thing is actually pretty freaking good, man. And it's strong enough to beat somebody with, too. I mean, well, we don't want to be talking about violence here, because guns are violent. Anyway, this is for trimming trees. You know what I mean? If you're going to trim trees or something, you know, you can't reach the branches. 45, it takes a pretty big chunk out of that branch, and, you know, there you go. But I've been doing this forever like that, but just watch your ass if you do that. I mean, there's ways you can pin these down, but the net effect is that. And actually, if you do this and you don't want to have it pinned down, you just cut the polyester heavy-duty cords and you're done, right? You're all set. There's just a bunch of tape underneath there, and the cords go over the tape, and there's one last piece of tape and with a couple cords over it. That's all there is. That's how that safety's bypassed. So one thing I don't like about this is, say you pick it up and you got it like this, and you just, oh, I picked it up and I dropped it or some shit, and just panicking. You grab it like that, and you go to, you know, you don't have it, even though you have that little thing with the hump, you still might not be grabbing it right. You might be grabbing it like this. Still works. And remember, when you lower it, like, put your finger in here, in there, not over here, down here. Use your other hand, but, you know, I'm going to show you for this purposes here. You lower it like that. This way, if your hand slips from here, say it slipped, it wouldn't go that far. You know what I mean? Versus going from here, if I slipped and go, oh, you know, it goes, oh, it slipped. If it goes from here and it starts slipping when you're transitioning to the back of the spur, you're okay. But do it with your left hand, not the right hand. You want to use your second hand. But that shows you can lower the hammer safely, even with the one hand. And when you're pulling it back, I kind of go like this, you know, off the side here. You know what I mean? With your finger off the trigger. And this actually, like I said, man, this is a very positive. I'm not afraid to carry this in this mode like this with these, you know, with this safety locked and cocked. It's actually, it's getting bad. To me, it's safer than a Glock by far, man. You know what I mean? Even with this thing pinned down. Because you got to do this. You know? And it's easy to do that. It's like your hand goes up here anyway. You know? How long does it take? It don't take long. Right? But anyway. The main thing I don't like about this thing, I tell you the truth, is when you clean it, I gotta watch when I put this shit back in here. I do it fine. If I'm in a hurry, when I'm putting that little stupid thing back in here, it gets, that little piece of shit gets, that little pin gets jammed up in here, this notch. That's a pain in the ass. You know, if you're doing this at night, you gotta be careful. Normally you're not doing that at night, but sometimes, well, we used to do shit like that at night, you know? And anyway, this thing shoots, I don't know. I don't know. And you know the thing is, there's like a gazillion parts for this stupid thing. And I never wore nothing out on it. It's about 10,000 rounds through here. Still good. Fires very accurate. Something wrong with that? No. So, just giving you some, you know, because I actually put another video out on this same American-Russian survival about, you can take this and you can put it in a carbine version. You can load it with 230 grain plain lead, and you can make it subsonic, right? Because it's subsonic. You don't need that much powder. You put the same 4.9 grains of Winchester 231 in a big 230 grain round, 45 caliber, as you would put in the 9mm 115 grain, right? Same amount of powder. You just use large pistol primers, though. The brass seems to last extremely long if you're not loading them really hot. That's probably why this thing's really not worn out, because I mainly shot 230 grain Winchester 231 4.9 grains. They weren't loaded real hot. But that's still got a lot of stopping power. I mean, the freaking military uses plain ball ammo. What do you think, man? This freaking shit don't work. It works. Right? Don't worry about the specs so much. To me, this is like the small block Chevy of weapons. It's Americana. I know small block Chevy's like 40 years newer than this when it was developed, but it's about as relevant today as a small block Chevy is today. Which you could say, you know, there's stuff out there that maybe it's better, but it's, I don't know. Practicality-wise, this bitch is good, man. And a lot of people don't like it because I guess they're not attracted to what's been around a long time. And they don't like it when it's heavy. But like I said, the heavy part is good when you're shooting it because you can keep it on round, you can keep it on target. So, I don't know. Everything's got an advantage and everything's got a disadvantage. That's the way it is. So, over now.